All right, guys. So I have decided I wanted to run this day back because my initial YouTube video to the George Pickens trade, it was just kind of a quick reaction. I was, in a time crunch or whatever. I didn't get to really discuss the team and like my thoughts surrounding the entire situation in depth enough. And so now that a full day has passed, everybody's emotions are kind of, we're a little bit better than we were this morning. Like I swear, we're kind of coming to like, okay, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. Like that we've been here before. We're kind of coming back down to earth with the take, but initially, man, I am telling you because listen, for you, if most of the people watching out there are going to be Steelers fans, right? Like you are a Steelers fan, I'm a Steelers fan, probably a majority of the audience is Steelers fan. But if you are not a Steelers fan, right, and like you're not really that tapped in with us in like trading George Pickens or like us in anything related to wide receiver at this point in time was just like an everyday thing. Every single day we were going to trade George Pickens for like 2, 3 years now, however long he's been on the team. Like the moment he got into his first thing, it's like, oh, the Steelers is going to be another headache. You got to take him out of there. You can't win with guys like this, blah, 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 blah. He kind of took a lot of criticism initially. Like we've been about to trade George Pickens, and then of course, if you remember the Brandon Ayuk saga, Debo Samuel saga, any wide receiver that hits free agency, any wide receiver that wants a new contract for the last season and a half, probably we were in talks with all of these players, right? And so the fact that it actually happened, and like once again, we take it back like maybe a month or two ago when we acquired DK Metcalf, that at first was like holy shit, because even though we had been talking about it, we've been getting DK Metcalf for 2 seasons now. Even though we had been talking about it, it's like, oh, we finally pulled the trigger, because I'm telling you, it's happened every single day. Every day I've seen a George Pickens trade rumor, like it's just the situation that we found ourselves in. But when it actually happened, when I woke up and seen George Pickens to the Cowboys, in fact, the night before, I had started seeing some leaks. But once again, as I reminded you, we have been going through this for like a year with the Steelers. And so once I see that leak, it's just like, another day, I'm going to go to sleep. I wake up and George Pickens is gone. My poster is gone. It's over. We had 1 year with the poster. We had, three, four, five. No, we only have one different camera angle. If you've been on this channel for a little bit, I've moved the setup around. I've done some things with it. We only had the George Pickens poster for 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and now it's over, and so I got to take it down. So that initially, like waking up to that, I didn't think about the poster first. I will say I walked into the room and to record, and I seen the poster, and I was like, oh my god, like, I forgot about, I forgot I had this. We literally don't have George Pickens anymore, right? So now that it actually happened, it's tough because we did draft George Pickens. You guys all out there, like we're all George Pickens fans for the most part. There's probably that 1% that is just like letting his antics kind of take over. But for the most part, we are all George Pickens fans. We all understand how good the guy is. We all understand, hey, you just throw the ball up. We just had Chase Claypool. We used to throw the ball up to Chase Claypool, and he would not come down with it. No disrespect intended, but that's the situation. Like that was our deep threat before. You throw the ball to George Pickens, I swear to God, if it's anywhere, he is catching it. He is going to catch it. And so having a player like that, and he's young, and the potential was through the roof, having a player like that who shined in a god awful, in a historically bad offense. We're talking about an offense manned by Matt Canada. We're talking about an offense manned by Mitchell Trubisky, manned by Kenny Pickett, manned by Mason Rudolph. I know we're all somewhat of Mason Rudolph fans, given that little Christmas run he did, right? Like I understand we like him a little bit, but guys, it's Mason Rudolph. Like the fact that George Pickens is able to eat with these kind of quarterbacks and this kind of offense, where we can't run the ball, we can't pass the ball, we can't block. What can we do on offense sometimes? Like, and this would be week in and week out, week in and week out. We can't score, we can't get first downs, we can't do nothing. But somehow George Pickens is just sticking out. Like, yo, like I'm like he's like it was a bright spot, right? And then the year before that, as this tweet mentions, I haven't mentioned any of the tweets on the screen yet. But the year before that, when we had Deontay was kind of shining too. But George Pickens, when he came to the team, when he made that first touchdown in the preseason, it was like, oh, wait a second, like we might have got one, because every team has one. Every team has a wide receiver drafted within the last 2 to 3 years that is just him. It is how it works. And so in 2 years, now that we got rid of George Pickens, in 2 years, we need to go out and draft Jeremiah Smith from OSU. But that's a whole different topic. I've been watching a lot of Will Howard highlights. I know you guys have been watching a lot of Will Howard highlights. And Jeremiah Smith, he is all over the place. But yes, every team is getting that I'm him receiver that like straight out of the draft. That's just how they're coming out. Remember Ezekiel Elliott when he came into the league? Remember like how the running backs sometimes, like Leonard Fournette, as soon as they touch the league, they are the best in the league. Like that is their peaks. I feel like at this point, wide receiver is really headed in that direction. all of that to say, when George Pickens started going out there hooping, started going out there balling, and we just drafted him and he fell and like he was like our guy. Like it was nice to attach ourselves to George Pickens because once again, we had nothing else on offense. Like people were Najee Harris stands like really for Mickey Mouse reasons, man, for that 1,000-yard thing, just like Mike Tomlin's winning season, because like our offense was that bad. I love Najee Harris, but it wasn't the same. And Najee was a first-round pick. It wasn't the same as like what George Pickens is doing. Like George Pickens is literally playing like one of the best receivers in the NFL, like, and not like statistically, you know what I'm saying? Like not statistically, but just off the vibes. Like you can tell when you watch him, when he gets the ball, when he gets going. He's otherworldly, right? That's just how I feel about George Pickens. If I'm overrating him, then maybe I'm just a biased Steelers fan, but that is what it is. He's able to do this too in an offensive system, which is really bad, right? So maybe he's just like, the good player on the bad team. Maybe he's getting up empty stats. He's like Trey Young or some shit. Like maybe you can say that. But I don't think so. I think he's going to be a really, really good player for the Dallas Cowboys, especially if they get it going. And no matter where we would have traded him, if they had ample quarterback play, I think he's going to like go crazy. I think he's going to be one of the best receivers in the NFL, and everybody is going to see. And the fact that the off the field antics carried it so much that that's a real reason to just take a 3rd-round pick and a 7th-round pick, and it's just like there goes George Pickens. That's sad to me. That really is sad to me that is what we're trying to say to justify it. Low key, we shouldn't have traded George Pickens. I will stand on that. We shouldn't have traded George Pickens because I think he is somebody that you can bring back in. Like you can't judge him off of what we've given out now. Like we have not. I understand you're bigger than the team is bigger than you. I understand all of that, but what I'm saying is I don't think it was unsalvageable that you go out and you trade possibly one of the best receivers in the league for a 3rd-round pick. I just think that's true. Now that doesn't mean we're dead. That doesn't mean we're out of it. That doesn't mean we'll never recover from this. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, we'll probably draft George Pickens again in 2-3 seasons when we go out and get Jeremiah Smith, Maybe we'll draft George Pickens again. We're going to be okay. And so I just don't think we should have traded George Pickens. But once again, we're still going to be good. Anyways, though, I had this tweet up on the screen. I'm now going to mention it. I know it's been 8 minutes. I really wanted to talk about this, honestly. I was at work just kind of tripping. I don't necessarily disagree with the premise, but I think it ignores everything the Steelers tried to do last offseason. They shipped his buddy out because he was a bad influence. Then they moved him to the X-receiver spot full-time while being the focal point of the offense. They hired an established, tough wide receiver coach known more for accountability, and he just didn't take the strides necessary to become the wide receiver one, so they traded for one instead. And he's pretty much saying that George Pickens, he's saying everything I'm saying, right? And so this tweet is like, maybe in a disagreement with me, and I've talked to people in real life, my friend Rick, like I've talked it over with outside sources, and it is too much. You know what I'm saying? Like it is the body language, the taking plays off, it is OD. Like I will admit that, and maybe as a whole, and for sure as a whole, the team is going to get better probably from losing George Pickens, but the talent itself, the George Pickens himself, the player itself, I just think could have warranted more valor, more like assets from the other team. Like I think we could have gotten more for George Pickens. And if not, we have why not let George Pickens and DK Metcalf ball it out for a year and then you lose them? Because okay, we lost a 3rd-round pick. That's tough, but I mean, shit. You see all these comp picks. Like we can survive that, but man, can we just see what George Pickens and DK Metcalf look like? We're talking about a team that put Duck Hodges on NFL starting football multiple weeks in a row. We're talking about a team that decided Mitchell fucking Trubisky was going to be the bridge quarterback to Kenny fucking Pickett. That is a real thought that this team had that it was going to work. So we're a team that's viable to do anything, right? Why not let DK Metcalf and George Pickens go out there and hoop? Why couldn't they have given that to us and then you just lose them? Because once again, it's a 3rd-round pick. It's a lot of draft capital. Maybe we'll use it in a trade. It'll come in handy. We have it in our back pocket. That's fantastic. But shit, it wasn't a second. Like it wasn't a 1st-round pick, and we got rid of one of the best. To me, one of the best offensive weapons in the league. That's just my take about it. But really, I should probably leave this point because I feel like I'm yapping. We shouldn't have traded George Pickens. That's like my final thoughts on it. I'm still sad about it, but we're not dead. Like this, we'll survive. They didn't hit our femoral artery or some shit. Shout out to Cedric. They didn't get us. But yeah, we're good. What I'm not surprised, oh my goodness, this is another tweet right here. We got a whole other topic, ladies and gentlemen. But while I'm not surprised that the Steelers traded George Pickens, I will be very surprised if they now trade TJ Watt. Cash accounting says they won't. Still expecting Watt to sign a huge extension this summer. this is not Steelers Depot, right? Like, I don't mean this in any way to Steelers Depot unless they've been like pushing this narrative or thinking that we're gonna trade TJ Watt. I am just using this because it has TJ Watt and trade in the same kind of picture for you. Because I'm not sure if I talked about it on my channel. I did on a live stream with Steelers Almighty during the first round of the draft. We talked about it on there. Shout out to him. And the fact that like trading TJ Watt, listen, we gotta have a deep talk. Trading TJ Watt literally makes no fucking sense in the world. Like there is no way that becomes like a W move. Okay, you trade TJ Watt for no matter how many draft picks you get, because you're probably gonna get a lot. You trade TJ Watt, you're looking to get TJ Watt again. On top of that, our defense is dramatically worse without TJ Watt. On top of that, he is the all-time leader in sacks on the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers. On top of all of that, he's been hurt. He deals with injuries near the end of the season. He kind of slows it down a little bit, but this is because he has to play 62 million snaps a game to keep us in the game. Because we take away TJ Watt, that defense it goes really bad. We're trying to improve. But yeah, TJ, like trading TJ Watt, people don't understand how much of an impact he has. And like I don't care how chessboard 4K woke, like whatever you want to, like whatever deep thought Jimmy Neutron ass thinking that you're trying to like, oh, if we trade TJ Watt now, that'll set us up for years to come. It's like, at what point do we focus on this year? We just traded Georgepickens, and there are people who think we should just trade TJ Watt and rebuild, and it's like, fam, why? Like we are nowhere close to as bad as some of these teams are, and you're talking about we should trade TJ Watt. I still am biased, probably. I still am drinking the Steelers Kool-Aid, but I think we're pretty good. Like I still think somewhere in 1% of the time we could win the Super Bowl this year. I think we have a good defense. Well, I just mentioned that they're not very good with TJ, but we still have TJ. We have a good enough defense. Our offense, I don't know, crazier thing, Jaden Daniels just came out hooping, right? And he's a first round pick, but like teams just flip. Like, so maybe this will be the year. It only has to work one time. I always keep saying that. So maybe shit, can just flip this year, and we're gonna be that like star-studded offense. We can still win a championship somehow, some way. But trading TJ Watt breaks that. It destroys it. That literally crumbles the vision to pieces. Like there is no way we can trade TJ Watt and keep the same defense, because you know why? We lose TJ Watt, who's not just, oh, TJ Watt, he's a top 5 player in the league. TJ Watt, he's a top 10 player in the league. TJ Watt, he's blah 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 blah. Like he's more than just rankings. He is literally TJ Watt. Like he's above one. He is one of a kind. He is in his own class. Like this is one of the best players to ever play the game. And he's on our team, and he's been on our team, and we drafted this guy with the 30th pick. Oh, Lamar Jackson. Oh, all these people who passed on Lamar Jackson. TJ Watt went stupid late for how good he is. We're talking about one of the best players to ever play the game of football. But let's trade him so that way in 2036 we have a first. Like, are you insane? Why? You are looking. It is what you guys are. Honestly, you guys are on crack if you think we should trade TJ Watt. I'm gonna just say, you guys are doing hard drugs if you think we should trade TJ Watt. But anyways, that's not as serious of a point. I just always say it. And once again, not Steelers Depot. I know they are on the screen, but I'm just using this as an example of TJ Watt and trade, because a lot of people have been talking about it. You're on drugs. Next up, though, speaking of on drugs, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive weapons. We got Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren, DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, Robert Woods, and Pat Freiermuth. If we had more of an established quarterback, if I could trust Mason Rudolph, which I don't, but it is what it is. If I could trust him, or Will Howard, who I have a lot of faith in, we got to see how he actually plays. I think we're still pretty solid, man, because Calvin Austin was someone who, to me, took a really big step up last year and became, a really serviceable piece for us. I believe was he hurt in his rookie year, and this is his second year or his third year? If I know he was hurt in his rookie year, right? And so we were kind of waiting on Calvin Austin, but he's played pretty good, and I believe he's improving. And then somebody who everybody literally just gave up on, I don't know why, but Roman Wilson, we have no idea how good he's going to be. Now, he's not like the same height as Georgepickens. He doesn't have the same, build or whatever. He's a different kind of receiver, but still, he can be somebody who's like in the slot or some shit, somebody who can make plays for us. We don't know how Roman Wilson is going to play if he plays. And so that is a complete wild card. Robert Woods, I don't know if I mentioned the Robert Woods signing, but ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed Robert Woods. Tight end Pat Fryermuth, everybody keeps telling me he just needs to get his in his system. He needs to get the ball. He needs to like have it going. He has all the talent. He's top 10 tight end, top 8 tight end, top whatever tight end. You guys are crazy too. But it is what it is. Pat Fryermuth, we love Pat Fryermuth. We love Sam Muth. He is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Like, if we just knew what was going to be going on at quarterback, Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren, my favorite player. Like, if we just knew, second favorite player, we got Boswell. And I tweaked, but you can't see it. But big Boswell jersey there. Jalen Warren is like my second favorite player. But yeah, if we had more of an answer at the quarterback position, I would be a lot more thrilled than I am right now. But you know, we just gotta hope, we just gotta ball out, and I believe that that Will Howard is gonna be something, and then maybe we're getting Aaron fucking Rodgers. As speaking of Aaron fucking Rodgers, the top 8 Steelers wide receiver options. I'm not gonna lie, as I was looking at this, I don't necessarily care. I don't even pick up a wide receiver because we went through all last season. Well, need a wide receiver. We finally did get Mike Williams, but like I've been through this, we need a receiver thing already. Fuck it. Don't even sign anybody. If we're gonna get Aaron Rodgers and we gotta get Allen Lazard, then I guess you do that. Which is crazy to me that we have to get Allen Lazard to sign Aaron Rodgers. But I guess with our receiver room, or should we be judging? And then everybody else like Gabe Davis, who like it just doesn't move me. It's just because once again the question at quarterback is just like it adding Gabe Davis to a fucking Mason Rudolph led team to me just isn't crazy. It's nothing like having George Pickens out there. Like it's nothing like just the point of it all. George Pickens to me, I understand he's a bit of a diva, which can throw some people off. But if you have an established quarterback, if you have a quarterback who just had, which I guess we don't, but if you have a quarterback who just commands that kind of respect, if you have one of the guys in the league, that's a real asset. Like to have George Pickens on the team, that makes a quarterback want to play there. That makes a quarterback want to, put in the extra effort. Would you want to practice more with George Pickens? Like, would you want to throw the ball as a quarterback more to George Pickens or to damn, I'm gonna disrespect one of these people, or to like Gabe Davis? I'm just imagining you would want to go play catch with George Pickens. Maybe maybe I'm sleeping. Maybe it's whatever. Amari Cooper at this point, he was a Cleveland Brown. Fuck him. Keenan Allen, I don't mind that, but once again, like imagine having Keenan Allen, George Pickens, and DK Metcalf. It's whatever. Which teams do all the fucking time. DJ Chark, Cortland Sutton, Tyreek Hill, we're not getting, and Cortland Sutton we've been trying to get for like 3 years now. It to me just doesn't really move me. I don't really care. I think we should literally go in with Calvin and Roman Wilson and DK Metcalf. Fuck it. If we need to sign like a low key option, do it. But as far as like we lost George Pickens, so we have to put in Gabe Davis. I don't think that's remotely the same. Allen Lazard, same thing. I don't think that's remotely the same. So you're not replacing it. Next up though, Colbert's last 5 drafts, which this is a tough read, honestly, especially this 2020, I believe 2 one, because we have Kenny Pickett gone, George Pickens gone, DeMarvin Leal, he's okay, Calvin Austin, he's coming into his own, Connor Hayward is Connor Hayward, he does his thing sometimes, Mark Robinson, Chris Oladukin, just not the best overall draft. We've gotten rid of all of these players except for like 3 of them. Next up in 2020, we had Naj, Muth. Everybody loves Muth, but we just lost Naj. Kendrick Green, horrible pick. Dan Moore, in our opinion, horrible pick, but he's making $100 million, so great pick to somebody. Buddy Johnson, Isaiah Louder, like these just are not, Presley Harvin also down here too. These are just not very good drafts. We got Chase Claypool, Alex Highsmith was a banger, but Anthony McFarland, Devin Bush, Deontay Johnson, who I didn't mention, but like Deontay be hooping. Yeah, I think people are sleeping on him. Then none of these players are on the team. Let's look at this one. Terrell, none of these players are on the team except for Mason Rudolph. Like, we cannot keep our players. And so tying it back to trading George Pickens, we got rid of a player. It's just like, damn, son, can we keep one player on this team? At some point, you got to keep your players. Like, how good do they have to be? Back to the TJ Watt point. How good does a player have to be for us to be like, all right, we'll sign you another season? And shit like this is what I'm talking about when it's like, can we keep a player? So this is our, last decade's leading wide receivers. And you can see AB's here, Juju's here, James Washington, Deontay Johnson, and George Pickens. Deontay Johnson, I feel like a lot of people kind of slept on. He definitely didn't help his own case. Like, it seemed like he wanted to be traded all the time. And, like, he was kind of on the locker room shit, like the cancer thing. So, it sucks we had to get rid of him. But I was a big fan of Deontay. I was a big fan of everybody here, including Antonio Brown. At one point, I really did like AB. Like, he was one of my favorite players. It still makes me insanely sad. When I think about how his career ended and like where he is now and how much of a fan I was, it's crazy. But this is what I'm saying. We just can't keep these people around. I understand this is a part of getting older, but I don't know. For being the Pittsburgh Steelers, I feel like we should not be as much of a roller coaster as we are. Now, Maybe that just comes with me being a spoiled Steelers fan, and like there's teams who every season have a new GM and a new coach and a new owner. I'm just spoiled as being a Steelers fan. But this turnover is getting a little concerning, to say the least. It's getting concerning. We can't keep nobody. Next up, Michael Beck. The entire offense for the Steelers has been built around fixing the quarterback in 2026. There will be more pressure to hit on the 2026 first round pick than any pick of my lifetime. Any pick of my lifetime, maybe. I thought low key this year's pick was because of that, just due to like the past drafts that we have. But yeah, we to me are still a very good team, and we just need that quarterback. And we somehow now, because we traded George Pickens, because we've done all these moves, we have all of this draft capital. Apparently, we are gonna do so much with these draft picks that we are going to nail the 2026 pick. And if Will Howard is not him, if Mason Rudolph is not him, if Mason Rudolph prevents us from drafting the quarterback because he thinks, he's gonna have a one season thing this year, I'm gonna be pissed, right? Because Mason Rudolph is gonna trick us, ladies and gentlemen. He's gonna do that, right? Mason Rudolph is gonna come out and he's gonna hoop and he's gonna get a crazy deal, and then it's gonna be like, I'm back. That's gonna happen. So if that happens, I'm gonna be pissed. 2026, and if we draft a quarterback, it has to be the answer. Like, we have to nail this pick. There are so many better prospects, apparently. There are so many quarterbacks in that draft specifically that we have to find the guy in 2026. And so all of that moves to there. We pretty much threw the flag in on the season because trading George Pickens for future picks makes your team dramatically worse. That is a sign of a team who's like, what if we don't win the Super Bowl this year? Like that is literally this team. And so should we congratulate them for looking in the mirror and coming to this conclusion? Because we all know it's true. We all know we're probably not going to win the Super Bowl, even with George Pickens. And so it's like, why not try to become that team? Maybe we should pat ourselves on the back for that. We finally grew up. We did our thing. I am just thinking about that as I talk about it now. Like maybe we deserve actually praise for it, and we are the best team in the NFL because we had the balls to trade George Pickens. Let's talk about it. And we traded Antonio Brown. And we got rid of Deontay Johnson. And we got rid of Juju. Fan favorite Juju. We were like, you stink, Juju. You're out of it. I'm back on the Pittsburgh Steelers wave, ladies and gentlemen. Only a real team does some shit like that. So anyways, I am still excited for this season. There's going to be plenty of storylines to come. There's going to be plenty of Will Howard stories, Mason Rudolph, DK Metcalf, who I'm sure is going to eat. There's going to be a lot of shit to talk about. And so I was excited about this now that we have something to kind of grasp onto as Steelers fans, because once again, we've been talking about wide receiver trades for so long. Now that we finally have figured it all out, I think it's finally, safe to say this is going to be our team. And Aaron Rodgers signs tomorrow. Now that I can say that this is going to be our team, it's time to lock in and figure out how we are going to win, how we are going to, make the most out of this year, because we never have losing seasons. Are we going to win a playoff game? All we need to do is win a playoff game. If we do that, we have momentum, we have the drive, the fans are back, the Steelers are back. Like, we are back once we win a playoff game, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we're a little bit farther from that goal today, but we got to figure out how to make it do. Anyways, this has been Zaya from Zaya and the Steelers. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I talk about the Steelers all the time. It's my favorite team, and I love doing it. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.